I'm a big girl now. See, I'm almost a big girl now. Hey guys, so I wanted to do a video on, I want to do several videos actually. If I can get them done or not is another story. But this video I just wanted to focus primarily on breastfeeding because I feel like it is an important video to get out, and I do want to share my breastfeeding experience with you know, my audience and others who might be seeking like a little bit of information, a little bit of help. I don't have a lot of help to offer you because I'm not a, I think I do as far as my experience goes, but I am not a professional by any means. I'm not a lactation consultant. So I can only share with you my experiences that I've had and the success that I've had with breastfeeding. So just really quickly, because I don't know how much time I have because Eden's going to probably cry any minute now. I did start breastfeeding in the hospital. I never fed her the bottle in the hospital. Yes, I did use a pacifier, and I'll go into that a little bit more later on in the video. I'm going to try not to make this too long though. But just in the hospital, sorry, I had to hear she was crying. In the hospital, I started breastfeeding, I believe it was that night, the night that Eden was born. Well, actually, was it the morning after? I think it was like 6/8. She was born on 6/7. And she took really well to the nipple. She latched on perfectly. Everything worked out well. The only problem that I had was that I was just tired, you know. And she wanted to feed like eat every, I think it was every 3 hours or something like that. And so, and each time she latched on in the hospital, she would nurse for about, I want to say like 10 minutes. I tried to go to like 15 minutes, but then sometimes she would just fall asleep, and you know, I'd take her off and put her back in her bassinet. So we started in the hospital. Now things went really well after we got home. I continued to nurse her exclusively after we got home. She was doing fine, you know, for that first week or whatnot. She still fed for about 10 to 15 minutes each time. Each time was about 2 hours in between. At some points it would be like 3 to 4 hours on my lucky nights because she would just sleep, okay? However, after that first week, it got pretty rough. In the middle of the second week, it was even rougher. It was even, you know, it was terrible. What ended up happening was my nipples got really incredibly sore. It was a pain that I've never even felt before, especially when she went to latch on. I wanted to give up. I wanted to, you know, I wanted to stop. I wanted to give her formula. I was like, you know, forget this. I don't know if it's worth it. Plus I was going through, you know, baby blues. And I'll talk about that maybe in another video if you guys want me to share that with you about baby blues and postpartum depression. But, you know, I wanted to give up, and I just sat there and I cried, and she was crying because she was hungry, and I'm crying because I'm in pain. And not only am I crying because I'm in pain, but I'm crying because I feel like I can't feed her. Like I feel like I'm not doing my job. So I called the pediatrician it was about 4 a.m. in the morning. Alex was panicking, I'm panicking, Eden's panicking, you know, so I called the pediatrician, and the pediatrician, you know, she told me, she's like, well, do you have anything you can take for the pain, like that's safe for the baby, Tylenol? I was like, look lady, I'm taking Percocet for my, you know, my stage 2 tear. So if that's not working, then I don't think Tylenol is gonna work. And so she's like, well, you can use a supplement, you know, any supplement of your choice. We don't really recommend, or we don't really tell you which ones to use. You can just pick one that you want to use, and you can stop, you know, nursing her for about 3 feedings and then try to go back to it. So we did. We chose Similac. I'm not going to speak bad about Similac, you know, because there are probably a lot of people out there who use Similac, but it did not work for Eden. It made her even more miserable. She cried and cried and cried and cried and cried, worse than she cried when she, you know, was hungry and didn't get my milk. Like, she had been fed the Similac. The Similac was in her, but after she had consumed it, when it went to try to digest it, it was a horrible experience for her. I felt incredibly bad. I felt like a failure. I felt like, you know, I wasn't trying hard enough. I felt like I gave up too easily. And so, you know, I threw everything out. I threw the Similac out. I then went to the store, and Alex and I went to the store, and because I was so determined, I said, you know what, I got to do something. So I went and I got this. I got this Medela pump, which is a manual pump I got from Walmart for about 40 bucks. And I came back home with this. I can show you how to use this, but it'll take too long, okay? Maybe if you want me to show you how to use it in another video again, you can request that down below in the comments. But I came home, I started to use that, and the pain was still there. It still hurt. But I wanted to do it. I just had to do it. I pumped 6 ounces. 6 ounces, not out of just one breast, but the two, you know, my two breasts together. I pumped a total of 6 ounces. I was so happy. I was in tears. And it makes me kind of want to cry now because, hold on, my hormones. Anywho, I was just incredibly happy. I felt like I was a hero, you know, like I felt like a hero. And I put those 6 ounces in, I have Dr. Brown's bottles. These need to be sterilized, but I just grabbed them anyway. So I used Dr. Brown's bottles. I put 2 ounces. It was enough to make 3 bottles, what I pumped. Okay? I guess because I hadn't fed her in so long. It wasn't so long, you know. It was the period in the morning time. In the AM, my lactation consultant says that you produce the most milk. Between like 2 and 4, you know, 1 and 4 in the morning, that's when you produce the most milk. So because both of my breasts were sitting there, you know, engorged, and I hadn't fed her on either, and I fed her the Similac instead, they were just huge. So I got 6 ounces, enough to fill 3 bottles, 2 ounces each, and I put these in the refrigerator. I went back to feeding her. I pumped for about a day or so, and after I pumped for about a day or so, I was able to get her back on the breast. I'm happy that I didn't give up, you know, because I really wanted to. I think after I gave her that formula and I saw how affected she was by it and how unhappy she was by it, it just gave me the inspiration to try again. So, and I was successful, you know. I just went through the pain, and it still hurt, you know. I'm not going to say that the pain stopped, but I guess the motivation and me wanting to just make sure that she was okay, make sure that she felt good, I was like, no, never mind the pain, you know. So that's what happened. I did try to do some other things for the pain. I used this thing here. I don't know if you can see it from way back there, but it is the Medela. It's the Medela 20 millimeter, which is, I think it's small size nipple guard. I used this. The pain didn't stop with this. It was still there, but it wasn't as bad. Okay, so if you are having issues like I was, you can try the nipple guard. It's $10. You can get it from Bye Bye Baby or Babies R Us. Okay, and you can also use the nipple guard, which is what I did with your pump. And I just did it like, had it on my nipple, and then I just did like that, and it works with the pump. That's what I did. Okay, and for just soothing relief, what I used was the Lancino. I didn't like this. I'm gonna tell you right now, I did not like this. It's very tacky. That's why I didn't like it. And if your nipples are sore and you're putting something tacky on it where it keeps moving it, you know, you don't even want your nipples to move when they're this sore. It's like, just leave me alone. Like, put a guard over it, you know, like a muzzle for a dog. Just put something over it, leave it alone, don't touch it. That's how I was. And so to have this tacky lanolin cream, I didn't like it for that reason, okay, because it hurt. It didn't help me. However, and I used it all up, but I'm going to try to explain the best way I can to you. There's another oil. It's not a cream. It's a oil-based thingamajiggy that you put on your nipples from Medela. And it's called the Advanced Lanolin Nipple Treatment. something like that. It's by Medela. I have seen it, I believe, on Amazon. You cannot find it in the stores. I already looked. Alright, but the hospital had given me some when I was in the hospital. And so that's what I used after I found out that I didn't like this. So it's oil though. It's oily. If it's tacky from Medela, then that's not the one I'm talking about. It's an oily one. I wish I could show it to you, but I threw away the thing because I don't use it anymore. But also for relief, I use the Medela gel pads. Now these aren't going to do much aside from keeping your nipples cool. That's it. I ripped these babies open because the hospital gave me these too. I ripped these babies open thinking that it was about to be just like the halo and the savior of sore nipples. But only for a moment, because your nipples get really hot. At least mine did. Mine were hot to the touch. So when they were hot to the touch, I put these on underneath my nursing bra and it would cool them down. But then that was it. And then I'd take them off. It'd get hot again and I'd have to take them off. But it works for that reason. They're just cooling gel pads if you wanted to try those. It's the Lancino disposable nursing pads. Someone said that they didn't need these when they were nursing. And so someone on YouTube, and so they suggested that you don't buy them. I'm going against that. I need these still, and I'm 1 month, 2 weeks almost postpartum. So this is my second box. My breasts leak, and I over-lactate. On top of that, I just wanted to add that I also take these prenatal vitamins. These are the over-the-counter ones that have DHA in them. They're by Nature Made. And I just take these because I'm still, I'm going to take them until I stop nursing, okay? I think that that's it, you guys. Like, that's my breastfeeding story. I am still breastfeeding. It doesn't hurt anymore. She latches on perfectly now. I still am, I am still over-lactating, but when it gets to that point, I just pull out my pump and I pump some out. So it's when she does get on it, it's not gushing her and, making her choke out. So I just pump some out and I store it in the refrigerator. And I think I'll end this video with just a funny story. I don't know if it's funny to you guys, but it was kind of funny to me. I went to my lactation consultant because I was having issues early on, as I've said before. And when I got to the hospital, I got into the lactation room with Lynn. Her name's Lynn, my lactation consultant, and she's like, okay, let me see what you've been doing, because she wants to see what I've been doing wrong to cause the pain, because obviously it's us, right? So I did everything that I do at home, and I went to put Eden on she was on this side. I put her on, and so she starts, trying to latch on. And she latches on for a quick second, then all of a sudden she jumps off, because again, that's that over-lactating thing that's happening. She jumped off. And when she jumped off, my milk started squirting everywhere. It squirted on the lactation consultant, because she's sitting like right here, went all over her, because when Eden was choking, I was more worried about her than I was about covering up my breast. So I went to her and tried to do this. Meanwhile, this is like going all over the place. It's all over the lactation consultant. It's all on the floor. It's all in Eden's face. And she's like, but I'm like, and I started apologizing to Lynn. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's never happened before. And oh my God, because it hadn't, until then. And that's when I found out that it's called over-lactating, and so that was hilarious. I won't ever forget that. So now all of my subscribers know that. Anywho, I hope that you've enjoyed the video. I just want to tell you, if you're having issues with breastfeeding and you are thinking about giving up, don't give up. It is worth it. Trust me, your baby will sleep better at night. Your baby will feel better during the day, and obviously the health benefits of breastfeeding for at least the first 3 months. Don't give up. If I could get through it, and I cannot stand pain, trust me, when I tell you my labor and delivery story, you'll understand. If I can do it, you can do it. We can all do it. Please don't give up. I hope that I've encouraged you. I hope that I've inspired you, and I hope that you subscribe. I hope that you comment down below if you have any comments. I love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye.